Hey, this is Stuart Wellington of the Flophouse Podcast. This is a Flophouse mini. So on the off weeks when we don't release a full episode, we do a mini episode, and that's what you're listening to right now. I'm Stuart Wellington, one of the hosts, and I'm joined by my other hosts, Dan McCoy and Elliot Kalin. But we have an extra cool. Elliot's just establishing that he's the cool guy of the podcast.
Yeah, that goes double for me. Double yo.
Oh, wow. We got two cool guys on this podcast.
Less cool than yo. I hate to break it to you, Dan.
So we got two cool guys and one baby face. That's me, Stuart. But we also have an extra guest, and that's not just a regular guest. We have a guest host because she's going to be doing a lot of the driving on this mini episode. Let me introduce my wife, Charlene Wellington. Hello, Charlene.
Hello. Yo.
Oh, wow. We have three cool dudes on this podcast. Now, Charlene is here for a number of reasons, but one of the key reasons is that she is promoting a new business venture called Jiggle Studios, a new fitness studio in in Sunset Park, Brooklyn.
It'll be Park Slope soon enough. Just let the real estate people have their way. In a few years, it'll be Park Slope. Yeah.
You know, this just came to me that we did an episode before where we were opening a joke business.
Yes.
And it sounded almost exactly the same.
Oh, no.
So how will we let the people know this is actually not a joke business?
I mean, maybe you shouldn't have given your real business such a silly name.
I think the level of concern you have about the confusion will let people know that it's a real business.
Yeah, no, that's actually...
I think we need your level of concern, Dan, and then maybe...
Oh my God, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
It's going to keep me up at night.
Yeah, when Professor Xavier reads Dan's mind, he's like, oh, fuck, that
guy. He is worried.
Like, whoa, he's like, time to step away from Cerebro for a little bit.
It's weird. His life seems pretty good, but he can't seem to calm down.
It's a cool mutant power you got there. And also when
we'll call you low self-esteemo.
On that joke business episode, I kept insisting that it was not a joke over and over, right?
Yeah, I could tell you were.
Oh, boy. You guys screwed yourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess for people to know that this is not a joke, you'll have to keep talking about what a joke it is, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's the full loop. We'll talk more about Jiggle Studios, which I'm sure you would love to.
It sounds so fake. Yes.
Well, no, I mean it's like a gym, but like to me, I'm like, oh, this sounds like like a low rent. Like they would do movies for Showtime. Jiggle Studios would be what Jiggle Studios.
Yeah, I guess it's just Jiggle Studio. It's not studio.
Two guys have inherited their grandpa's gym, and they need to make it profitable, so they make it a nude lady gym called Jiggle Studios. Yeah.
Oh man, Dan would have said
I've chosen the wrong name.
Oh God.
Got it. Okay, let's change this to Critique My New Business Endeavor podcast.
Just trying to offload some of my anxiety onto you, Charlie.
Thank you.
We'll talk more in depth about Jiggle Studio and your upcoming crowdfunding campaign.
Yes.
But can you give a quick summary of what Jiggle Studio is all about?
So Jiggle Studio is a real fitness studio in Sunset Park, Brooklyn.
Not a joke, everybody.
Next to Minnie's. I am renting the space next to Minnie's. And
Minnie's, that's that really cool bar that I've heard about.
It's a very cool bar. And it's a class-based studio where we focus on movement for joy and never for weight loss. So we like to say, move the body you have.
Okay, and that sounds great. So to go along with that, we are going to do a special mini episode where normally on mini episodes, we just talk about whatever. But today we're going to do just that thing. We are going to talk about whatever. We're going to do an episode of the classic, I think the original mini format. We are going to do a Missed That Movie. Charlene and I watched the John Travolta, Jamie Lee Curtis vehicle, Perfect, which is based on a true article in Rolling Stone magazine.
Yes.
There really was an article.
I don't know if the article was true, but it was based on an actual article.
So Charlene, and this is also fun because this is going to be Charlene's time to get to do a summary. The thing that she would make fun of me for, and she's like, you do it so, like, Dan and Elliot and Stuart do such bad jobs summarizing movies. Now she has to try.
Huh.
I mean, I say that in my sleep, so it's not on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
that's the secrets that she keeps.
So you let me know when to start, and then
yeah. It's now. It's the time you start.
Okay.
Yeah. Time to hit
All
the gas.
right. So perfect. We open to Jersey City.
Here it happened.
Jersey City, 1985, newspaper office. Adam, played by John Travolta.
Oh boy.
He's an unhappy obituary writer.
Yeah.
Cut to New York City 5 years later.
Uh-huh.
Oh, keeping it tight.
right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, Stuart, you passed along my request to keep it short today. This was a thing that happened.
Oh, I thought we were still goofing. I thought that was a goof, Dan. You put it in italics with a little crying
I just
laughing
cut
emoji.
5 years out of it.
Okay, that's good.
Guys, just to pull back the curtain,
Yeah.
when we in the Flophouse group chat, Dan is the emoji king. He is constantly throwing emojis.
He loves them. He loves them.
Elliot's dropping gifs on everything. Me,
Yeah.
I'm a sticker boy. I use stickers, mainly pictures of myself that I've turned into stickers.
Yeah.
Okay, go, Charlene.
Okay. So New York City, he's working for Rolling Stone magazine. We know that because there are pictures of a lot of famous
Stones?
celebrities. Yeah, Rolling Stone performers.
They,
And
they even do pictures of Mick Jagger.
yeah, there are pictures of Mick Jagger. And then his editor, I guess, sends him to California to cover 2 very important stories.
So he's been in 3 different states already by the time of the movie.
And Charlene
yes.
completely, she's keeping it tight. She glossed over the fact that Carly Simon shows up and throws what looks like a glass of tomato juice that is in a coupe glass into John Travolta's face.
We didn't get up to that yet, but yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Carly Simon was actually in it, which is really as herself. And he was like, oh no, it's Carly Simon. And yeah.
You're
she
so
threw,
vain.
Yeah. That song was about him.
Yeah.
So he has to cover these 2 very important stories. One, they never really make it clear what it's about, but it's very important, and somebody has to testify.
Somebody's on trial for selling microchips to another country or something.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right.
It's never clear. And then the more important story are health clubs, the new singles bars.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of like meant to be like a takedown hit piece, right?
Yes.
Because that's his specialty. He writes like hit pieces. That's why Carly Simon threw that tomato juice in.
Yes.
I was young in the 80s, but I did live through it, and I recall back then it was sort of treated as an amazing thing that people might want to exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was.
Well, so you have to remember that we had just been through the 70s, which was the decade of self-destruction. It was really cool to do a lot of drugs and just be filthy and sweaty all the time. And the 80s was when people were like, we got to get back into shape. Come on, America. This is bonkers.
It's morning, I heard.
Yeah, in the 80s, it's like, if you're going to do drugs, do ones that at least make you very energetic.
Yeah, the 70s was all about cocaine as opposed to the 80s, which were all about cocaine, I guess. And then people were so tired that in the 90s they needed heroin to just kind of get them some sleep,
And also
70s
cocaine.
were Quaaludes, man. Quaaludes.
And don't be naive, Dan. Come on.
I think you're correct.
How many, did they make Quaaludes out of quails?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
that's why That's why they don't exist
They're
anymore.
extinct?
Yeah.
No,
all the
wait, they're not
quails are
extinct.
gone. Yeah.
They were just like when people used to smoke passenger pigeons. That's why we don't have those anymore. Also.
Okay. So John Travolta shows up at this giant sports and racket club. And I feel like gyms were way bigger in the 80s and they always had racquetball.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called like the
racquetball was
Sports
huge.
Connection or something.
Oh, yeah, I deleted what the name
I
was.
think it's called
headbands.
Sports Connection.
It's something like that, but it's a health and racket club.
Okay, so tell me about this club. What's it like?
So we got racquetball. We got a bunch of people dressed in amazing bodysuits and tights, headbands, leg warmers.
Guys, I know that I'm a firm believer in the concept that nobody cares about your boner, but like I love 80s workout outfits.
I do too, but I'm confused by leg warmers because that was big in the 80s.
Mhm.
You don't see them at all since the 80s. And I was like, is it a problem? Like, were legs cold? Like, I feel like when
legs
you're...
were colder in the
leftover
80s.
from the
Working
70s,
out.
the oil crisis, there was less heat to go around. And
Right.
people are still dealing with that. So that people's legs, because that's the lower part, hot air rises. The top half of your body is going to be warm. Cold air settles around your tootsies. And so you need leg warmers to keep those warm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Based on the
That all
amount
makes sense.
of sweating I do at my yoga class, a relatively low impact thing.
Also, my yoga class.
Yeah, Charlene has begun to. Now we're yoga buddies.
We go to yoga together.
It's true. This is another true thing and not a joke.
Real quick, who farts more?
I mean, it's a whole class of
real
people.
quick, one more thing. This is Stuart
what
from
happens in
Rolling
yoga
Stone
stays in
Magazine.
yoga.
Just one more question, Carly Simon. How much do you fart?
I'm just saying, I've never been like, oh, I want to put like a layer of wool on my legs doing this.
So the 80s was all about like dance culture, right?
Yes.
And all of the popular movies were about dancing. And leg warmers.
Flash dance, dance.
Fucking rules. Like that is a
Footloose.
movie where
Loose
this like
Flash.
Steel Town has nothing else going on, but this like fucking kind of strip club that's mainly just like women dancing. Like
It's
it is
amazing.
packed all the time.
Yeah,
Because
not a lot
they're
going on.
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, how long does it take to set up the water on
Yeah.
the top of the stage?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then she pulls it, and then they have to take
They
a
have
break
to
and they
mop
got
it
to
up,
dry the stage.
And there was that one
Next-
time where they accidentally got buckets mixed up and they ended with the bucket from Carrie and she pulled it. She had pig's bladder all over her.
Uh-huh.
That's not easy
Yeah.
to clean.
And she gets magic powers, and that's how Carrie got her magic powers. Right?
Yeah, the pig's blood
That's
suits are
right.
the telekinetic power that all
magic
pigs
power.
have.
I kind of
yeah.
skimmed the book and movie.
Yeah.
So they're wearing bodysuits. They're wearing the bodysuits with the belt that's like goes inside the bodysuit and comes
Love
out
it.
the other
Yeah,
side.
We get a couple of famous faces in there too, right?
We got Mary Lou Henner. We got Lorraine Newman.
What?
What? Hold on.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
We're holding on.
Oh,
You want to say something about Lorraine Newman?
yeah, I just needed time to process Lorraine Newman being there. Okay, I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have Jamie Lee Curtis, who is teaching the most popular aerobics class.
Less of a
in-
surprise that she's
the
there because
world.
she's one of the stars of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, she teaches aerobics. It's also, I think they call it slimmer size.
Sure,
And it's
of course.
mostly if the footage I've seen is any indication, it's mostly a lot of hip thrusting.
Oh
Yes,
my
I
god!
got
it is.
all hip thrusting.
I have never seen the movie Perfect, but I have seen the clip of them gyrating their hips at least
It is
20 times.
It
so
takes-
much worse than you think it is,
And so much
We're not there
longer.
yet, but we could skip around. I'm not a stickler like this guy, Stickler McCoy over
Whoa.
here.
Oh, oh man!
Yeah.
So maybe I am. All right, let's go back. So I take it back.
So Jersey City, 1985. So,
No, we laughed
Adam's
ourselves.
writing obituaries.
So Jamie Lee Curtis is teaching an aerobics class, and this classroom is 2 levels of people taking the class. There's like, people upstairs, downstairs. They're all anyway. So he is immediately, John Travolta, enamored by her because she's amazing,
mhm.
and he wants to use her in his article.
Hmm.
But she won't do it. Something in her past, something bad.
She was hurt by an article.
She was hurt by an article.
Yeah,
She
you
doesn't want
nailed it.
Michael Myers to find her. She's in
Yeah.
living
Oh,
under
that's
an assumed
probably
name
it.
now. Yeah.
This is pre-Michael Myers, no?
No, I think this has got to be after.
No, this is about
77?
9 years
Oh.
after, right?
Really?
Or 79? I don't know.
Oh,
Late
okay.
Like
70s.
76. I thought
You're
it was like,
thinking of Mike Myers.
Look it up.
He was on Saturday Night Live after this.
Oh yes, that so
With
Halloween
Lorraine
is
Newman?
1978. So
Yeah,
Halloween
okay.
the movie is 1978. That's Michael Myers the killer. Yeah, Mike Myers the comedian is he won't be around for a
You
little
might
while.
you might know him as Shrek.
I do know
Dan,
him.
can you drop your famous Shrek impression?
Hey, donkey. Stop
Nailed it. Stop
acting
it.
the fool.
Stop! I'm gonna laugh too much.
Now Dan, do your
Charlene,
love
you should
guru
probably
impression.
continue before I crack up.
I'm so confused.
Do I make
Oh
you
man,
horny?
your
No, that's
job
not
is
the
so
love
much
guru.
harder than I thought it
boy.
was.
Okay, now Dan, do his Jewish mom Cat in the Hat that he does.
Does he? Does he just do Linda Richmond for the cat?
It's
in the
pretty
Hat?
much Linda Richmond, yeah.
That's actually kind of. I gotta watch Cat in the Hat.
How
Um,
amazing! What an amazing piece of stunt casting would it be if the new Halloween movies he had pulled off his mask and it was Mike Myers underneath?
Oh, I mean, A+, 4 stars.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
he's still doing
so,
the Linda Richmond voice.
Perfect.
So Adam wants Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm going to go back and forth. John
Yeah.
Travolta wants Jamie Lee Curtis for his article. She can't do it. She was once hurt by an article. Then we cut to Adam goes to a strip club for we have no idea why. It turns out it has to do with the other story.
Oh, I mean, a lot of guys don't need an extra reason to do that.
No, he was there to see a specific stripper.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
And it had to do with this other story that, again,
I was going to say
not
a lot
really
of
sure.
movies from the 80s didn't need to have a reason to go to a strip club.
Yeah.
no,
That's
this,
true.
I guess this had a thinly veiled
Yeah.
reason. Then we cut back to the gym, and he's still trying to pester Jamie Lee Curtis to do the article.
Yep.
And she goes to work in her bodysuit, which is what I noticed. She doesn't like change when she gets there. Then what
LA
else?
weather, baby.
Says something about shrimp cocktail, aerobics Pied Piper.
You're doing a good job.
Intriguing.
I've got good notes.
Yeah, you're
No, I
crushing
love
it.
it.
So-
It makes me wonder.
But he asks her to go to lunch with him, and they
Mm.
go to lunch,
Mhm.
and she tells him her story or about how she doesn't trust reporters and this and that.
Right.
Mhm.
And then they have sex, and he promises that not at lunch. They go back to his hotel room and have sex, and he promises he's not going to use her in his article.
It would have been
I mean, if he
unsanitary if he
did,
did it
it
at the
would-
restaurant.
It
Yeah.
seemed to be an
It's-
ethical breach at that point
Yes.
since he took her home to have sex.
I mean, it's entirely, no matter what the location, it's an ethical breach, right?
Yes,
Well,
yeah,
I'm
because
just
of the
saying that if
reporter.
he then used her in the article, it's
Yes.
all the more so.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Not if
I
it's
see.
like in the bathroom of a bar.
Yeah.
That's not an ethical breach.
Yeah, but that's a bar breach because then they break the sink.
Yeah, they break
Yeah.
the sink
The sink.
every time.
Don't
Yeah.
have sex on the bar sink.
You got to
Yeah.
clean the
Use
place.
the power of your own legs if you're going to have sex in the
Yeah,
bar
yeah.
bathroom.
But there is a
Um,
perfectly good sink right there. It would save a lot of
No.
energy.
It's not, but the thing is, it's not perfectly good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not meant to hold
I think
that
you're
much weight.
overestimating how well that sink is attached to the wall.
Yeah, it's true.
So what you're really saying is when you're having sex in a bar bathroom, take a moment, test the strength of the sink with little increments, so you can make sure you're not
Yeah,
overloading it. Yeah,
Slowly,
And then-
slowly
add
stacking
people to
quarters
it.
Now,
on it.
Until-
until there's a critical failure, how are you going to know, though? I don't understand.
Well, no,
Yeah.
you start seeing when it starts to show you failure. You know,
Oh, okay.
you
It
know,
starts
just
creaking.
the same
Okay.
way they don't test
Mhm.
the weight limit on a bridge by just putting heavier things on the bridge until it breaks and then rebuilding it again and putting up
I
a
don't know.
sign that says not this much. you know.
Charlene, that when we were watching The Gilded Age, you kept saying that's how they tested the structural integrity of the Brooklyn Bridge, right?
I mean,
They put
The way they-
elephants on it until it collapsed.
the way they proved that there was structural integrity was the elephants went across.
Was they had a
Oh,
couple
okay.
have sex on the bridge and people were like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
And they kept adding people to the couple.
hmm
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a throuple.
All right. Now
a
I'm interested in
tuple.
history.
Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah.
Great Bridge Orgy of 1877. Yeah.
Dan's like, they had poly people back then? What?
So they have sex. Then she convinces him to take her class. And then the class it's like 20 minutes, or it felt like 20 full minutes of them just thrusting and looking at each
Eye
other.
contact and
and
thrusting.
sweating.
And I will say, I'm very impressed by the fact that every time she teaches a class, everybody knows the fucking move. She does not call out a
She
single
doesn't call the
move.
moves. They
Everybody's
all know
like,
them already.
and everybody's like, yeah, I guess I have committed to this hour-long hip thrusting class.
But it's only thrusting. And it just goes from Jamie Lee Curtis to John Travolta in his tiny shorts and his floppy dick. And he's just like thrust.
A lot of
thrust.
balls. I
And
feel
then-
like there's a lot of balls action going
And
on.
then-
That was the
Yeah,
80s.
and-
People were into that in the 80s.
And then at one point they get on the floor and do more hip thrusting, but just from a different
Sounds
position.
like a lot of core strength
It's a
to me.
lot of
Yeah.
just that one
Yeah.
part of the core. It's a total core hip thrust workout.
Yeah.
Goes on and on and on.
So what Charlene's trying to say is that I think this is a perfect segue that Jiggle Studio is going to feature a weekly hip thrust class.
Just hip thrust class.
It's just an hour of hip thrusts and eye contact. You have to be maintaining eye contact
you must
the entire
have
time.
the eye contact.
That's the real work. That's the real
No-
exercise work.
No sunglasses indoors, Dan McCoy.
But how will people know I'm cool?
Is this really when we're going to take the time to talk about Jiggle Studio?
No, keep going.
Okay. We didn't come up with a signal. So, all right, let me open
Stuart
my
will thrust his
notes
hips,
again.
his hips when it's time to do it. Yeah.
So, pelvic thrusts, then they go back to her house.
Yeah,
She tells him,
Charlene's notes has a lot of pictures of John Travolta hip thrust.
those are called gifts.
Yeah, okay. They are a gift.
Yeah.
They
John
go-
Travolta's gift to the world. Yeah.
Yeah. They go back to her house. I think her mother's there.
Yep.
She tells him the real story of how a reporter did an expose on her when she was a swimmer in high school. She was supposed to go to the Olympics. She had an affair with her coach. And then they go skiing. And then they're laying on a table outside. And she's wearing a tank top and sweatpants, but there's snow on the ground.
Kind of getting in the weeds here, but that's okay.
I didn't understand that part. Anyway,
no, this is the quicker version. Tell us what the weather is like in all the scenes.
I don't know
Some
where
people
they
like
were skiing.
the refreshing sort of feel of that.
Yeah, it felt like maybe Palm Springs based on where they're driving, but
Then they're driving back, and she's telling him more of her backstory, and she looks over and she realizes he's recording their conversation, and she threw him out of the car.
But like when you start dating somebody, you record all the conversations you have, right?
Yeah,
so you have receipts.
Yeah, you can throw things back in their face later on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I started this podcast, so that I could have ammunition against Dan and Elliot.
So now she's mad at him. She's not talking to him. He goes back to his hotel room. There's a Boy George convention.
What is
That's
the
true.
perfect thing?
That happens.
So what's the perfect thing? So I'm confused about the title.
We're actually we are getting there.
Okay, great. Okay.
This
So there's a
movie
Boy
was
George
2
convention?
hours long.
So there's a Boy George convention, which means there's a lot of people dressed up in one specific Boy George outfit,
I see.
hanging around a pool, chanting "boy" over and over. And you're like,
Are there like academic papers being presented on Boy George, that kind of thing?
yeah. They keep saying "boy" a lot, and at first I'm like, is this a Phantasm convention?
Yeah.
You
So he
play a
decides-
good record, Boy George. You spun me right round.
I don't think that's
That's
That's not Boy George.
Karma Chameleon.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not.
correct.
It doesn't sound as much like you've made a real karma chameleon out of me, boy. It doesn't sound as good as the.
Do
spin
you
me right
really
round
want
one.
to hurt me, boy?
Oh, there you go. That's fair. That's fair.
So speaking of Karma
Walk
Chameleon,
like an Egyptian, boy.
So-
No,
Not
that's
Boy
the
George.
Bangles.
when
That's
I was
another
in
80s hit.
camp, I feel like Elliot will like this. When I was in camp and we would make songs up to other, pop songs.
Mhm.
Karma. So there was a song, Kosher Chameleon, that
Oh, nice.
somebody made up, and it
That's
went,
good.
Kosher, 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 kosher chameleon eats food that's trafe when it is safe.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
Only when it's safe.
really, yeah, man, we're
Anyway,
we're softballing our fucking Borscht Belt
I couldn't
audience.
not sing Kosher Chameleon.
No, it's good stuff.
So they're mad at each other. He's going to do the article about everybody else. He goes to a party at Mary Lou Henner's house. She's dating a Chippendale dancer.
Oh yeah, there's a long Chippendales dance scene.
Yeah. And
Also big
He-
in the 80s. This movie's all about 80s stuff, yeah.
he takes all these notes. Somebody refers to Lorraine Newman as the most used piece of equipment in the gym.
Wow.
Yes.
Don't treat Lorraine Newman like
No,
that.
exactly.
No, not okay.
So
And he's talking to them, and they're all speaking kind of relaxed, almost as if it's off the record. They're all getting drunk. It's a party. But he's recording this whole conversation. Lorraine Newman's character reveals why she likes Jim so much. Yeah.
Mm.
Which is
Yes.
this whole idea of she's like, there's nothing wrong wanting to be perfect. That's why she goes to the
Oh,
gym.
I
That's
see.
why she
Yes.
wants to have plastic surgery, et cetera, et
and
cetera.
yeah.
And this is the moral of the movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
is that
Yes.
you should do all this stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So Adam has a change of heart.
hmm And this change of heart, I think, also signals a brief change in the podcast where I will pivot to a thing called promoting Flop TV.
Oh,
I don't know if you know about
okay.
everybody else got very nervous because they're like, fuck, is this another one of Stewart's wacky episodes? No, this is a normal episode. So right now, we are in the middle of Flop TV Season 2. We did a season last year that was 6 months, one episode a month, where we do a really fun live show. They're a little truncated, trimmed down versions of our normal live shows. But we get to watch some movies that we're very excited to do. And this time we are watching and talking about sequels, number 2s. Are they number 2s or are they number 1s? We'll find out. We've already done one on RoboCop 2, and it was so much fun. It was really cool to get to do the show with you guys. And it also gives us an opportunity to throw little bits of extra bits and bobs, some pre-recorded stuff. And it's a really cool thing that we get to do. And you can watch it at home live, or you can watch it in wherever you want to watch it, wherever you have a internet signal.
You do need an internet connection, but otherwise the world is your oyster. You know, your oyster, as long as that oyster has an internet connection.
Yes, an internet connection.
Watch it on the toilet.
You can. I mean, that's where I'm assuming most people watched it. So
you can watch it on a boat. You can watch it with a goat. You can watch it
with a stoat.
You can watch it with a fox. Yeah, stoat too.
Stoat?
You know,
stoat is kind of like a fox.
Oh.
I will watch Flop
weasel,
TV.
I think.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weasel.
I will watch it. Sam, I be.
So you're probably like,
what's the next?
Flop TV sounds super fun. I can't wait to watch it. What's the next one? Well, of course, we are watching Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Tonight, the night that this episode is released, we'll be watching Breakin' 2. We'll be talking Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo.
About Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo. And I'm very excited because Charlene was a big fan of Breakin'.
Was.
And Breakin' Away, as well as Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo.
There's going to be not as much Breaking Away content.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
Okay.
And just to let you guys know, if you want to get tickets and join in on the fun, it is go to theflophouse.simpletix.com. You can get tickets to individual shows, or you can get a season pass, and that gives you access to not only the shows that are coming up, but also every show that we've done so far this season. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I like doing it. Also, I think this is a really good time for Charlene to explain, now that we've heard a little bit about what the gyms are like in the movie Perfect, what's Jiggle Studio all about?
So, unlike the movie Perfect,
okay,
Jiggle Studio does not want you to strive to be perfect.
Okay.
At Jiggle Studio, you can be exactly who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's a place where you can take all kinds of classes. We're going to have yoga. We're going to have burlesque. We're going to have theatrical fighting classes. And
one of my favorite ones is the Hangover Helper class.
Yes, Hangover Helper, where it's 20 minutes of light cardio, followed by 20 minutes of stretching in a dark room with low music, followed by a cup of warm vegetable soup. That is for real. It's always been my dream to have a fitness studio that focuses on just moving your body and having fun, as opposed to the drudgery of trying to get thinner, trying to get bigger, trying to change your body. And the opportunity came because I have the space next to it. I have minis. It's the same landlord. So hopefully we'll have some cool crossover events. And we're going to be doing a Kickstarter to raise money to build it. I have to put in a new floor. We have to put in new bathrooms. We're going to have
mirrors,
merch,
but you also need curtains to cover the mirrors.
Curtains, yes. So there will be merch, and you can follow our progress on Instagram at jiggle_studio BK.
Great.
And hopefully the Kickstarter will be launched by the time this episode is up.
Mm-hmm.
But if not, just follow us. We're on Facebook. You can follow. We'll be putting updates in the Flophouse social media, and
or my personal,
or Stuart's personal. But yeah, so keep posted. This is for real. And Jiggle Studio.
I like this episode is all not like, no, this is all for real.
This is for real, you guys.
Also,
is for real.
Also good news, guys. A stoat is a type of ermine.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's also late breaking news.
Okay,
yeah.
and ermine.
Is that breaking news?
Yeah.
And ermine is an animal that they used to make fur coats out of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From the Frank Sinatra song.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yep. So I guess this is how stuff works now, right now, or things you should know, stuff
It's
you
a
should
very
know.
popular podcast. If only.
Is there like a is there a true crime podcast called like How Stuff Dies?
Probably.
There's at least a gardening podcast.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Alexis.
And I'm Ella.
And we're the hosts of Comfort Creatures.
We could spend the next 28 seconds telling you why you should listen, but instead, here's what our listeners have said about our show, because really, they do know best. The show is filled with stories and poems and science and friendship and laughter and tears sometimes, but tears that are from your heart being so filled up with love.
A cozy show about enthusiasm for animals of all kinds, real and unreal. If you greet the dog before the person walking them, or wander around the party looking for the host's cat, this podcast is for you.
So come for the comfort and stay for Alexis's wild story about waking up to her cat giving birth on top of her. So if that sounds like your cup of tea
or coffee, Ella, we're not all Brits,
then join us
every Thursday at MaximumFun.org.
Hey, this is Mike Cablon,
Ify Wadiwe,
and Sierra Kato,
the hosts of TV Chef Fantasy League,
where we are currently using fantasy sports rules to watch Great British Bake Off,
or the Great British Baking Show, as it's known here in America.
We've drafted the bakers onto our teams, and now those bakers are earning us points based on how they're doing on the show.
And at the end of the season, one of us will win the prestigious TV Chef Fantasy League trophy crown. What is the...
Yeah, I don't know. I keep forgetting to order something. Probably just dinner. Anyway, subscribe to TV Chef Fantasy League and play along with us at home.
Or just listen in as we cry over our bakers' soggy bottoms.
On MaximumFun.org or wherever you get your podcasts.
We have a couple of late-breaking jumbotrons for you. This message is for Brendan Berber, and it's from Denise, your burb. Happy birthday, Brendan. I hope this message from your favorite original peaches makes your day. Row! I'm sorry for taking that from Stuart. I will pay you for your intellectual property, Stu. You're amazing. You're an amazing double doctor and a more amazing spouse and double dog dad. There's no one I would rather make up stream of consciousness songs about. I love you. Love, Denise, Cassidy, and Rufio. A very sweet message for Brendan. Happy birthday. And one more. This message is for Haley. It is from the Dan Brown Tattoos. And it goes like this. Congrats to Haley from your fellow Dan Brown Tattoos on the occasion of your PhD defense. We are writing this before said defense, which we hope/assume was successful due to how you've been practicing your crane kicks. Thanks for being our quiz time scorekeeper/curator of data, even if you refuse to curate all of the data we clearly need. So congratulations on your PhD in, I guess, crane kicking. And that is it for the Jumbotrons.
All right, so our main character, our main character Adam has a change of heart, and he does not write the scathing article that he took notes about. He writes some kind of not really good article, sends it in, and his editor is like, "What the hell is this? This article sucks." And he has somebody in his office rewrite the article.
Using the notes, making it even more scathing. And they put Jamie Lee Curtis's character in it. Name her. They were able to do
They referenced the former article. It's so much worse than it could ever be.
And it still got his name on it.
Yeah,
they used his byline, which that's got to be a crime of some kind. He's already moved on. He's in Morocco. And he
reporting on the exercise scene there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he calls Jamie Lee Curtis because he's like, "Hey, the article came out. You're going to see. It's going to be awesome." But it's not awesome. So he flies back to New York, takes a baseball bat, and smashes up the Rolling Stones office.
Okay.
Rolling Stone office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not
the office of the Rolling Stones, the band.
Yeah. Got confused.
Yeah.
Takes Keith
Mick
Richards.
Jagger's like, "Well, you're
like,
smashing up our office, mate." You know.
Yeah, and they're like, "Are we the ones? We're rock stars. Aren't we the ones who smash stuff up?"
Get some wild horses in here to drag them away.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say wild horses because we cut to Jamie Lee Curtis teaching an aerobics class
to some horses.
To what is it?
Yes.
The William Tell Overture, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. More hip thrusting.
That one.
So So he smashes the office. He calls her and tells her that he didn't do it. And then she doesn't believe him. And then he's subpoenaed for the other case that we don't really understand what that's about.
Yeah, he didn't surrender an interview he did with this guy he didn't give it to the magazine, and the I don't know, like the government
he kept his word.
Demands it.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
thank God they rested so much of the plot on this thing they didn't really explain.
Yeah.
And then they hold him in contempt, and he was like, I won't give these up because I gave my word. And Jamie Lee Curtis is in the courtroom audience and sees him say that, and then I guess she realizes that he didn't write the article, and then they kiss. Movie over.
So things are finally perfect for them at the end.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Everything is perfect.
And that muckraking rag, Rolling Stone, known for taking down aerobics as a thing, I guess.
I mean, aerobics and
It's
General
just
Stanley McChrystal was the
desserts.
two things Rolling Stone took down. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, should we?
Any questions?
Well, I mean, what's your final judgment? We usually do final judgments.
Yeah.
What's your final judgment on this, Charlene?
So real quick, the final judgments for Miss That Movie are, glad we missed
Yeah.
it. Sad we
Yeah.
missed it, or had to not miss it.
Which is, we're going to go back and watch it now.
But I didn't miss it.
Well, I think it's for us, I
It's
guess.
for the others who did miss that movie. Yeah.
I mean, I've always been curious about this movie. I guess I had to not miss it. Someday I'll watch Perfect, probably.
I feel like I'm glad I missed it. I feel like there's enough in it that it sounds bad, but it's not. Your description would make me be like, I gotta see this thing. This sounds nuts. You know.
Yeah, it's.
I've seen the hip thrusting scene. That's pretty.
Yeah,
much
I feel like that's all you need to see is the hip
Yeah.
thrusting scene.
What do you guys say about it? You watched it.
Is this? By glad we missed it, I'm saying I'm glad we did not watch it for the podcast for a normal episode. I don't necessarily think it would have been the most fun. Is it as good of a John Travolta movie as something like Blown Away or Look Who's Talking? Probably not. But it's somewhere in between.
Blown Away.
You mean Blowout?
Blowout. God damn it. I get confused, guys. I
You're just
drink
thinking
too
of
much.
that Nicole Eggert movie.
Or the one with Tommy Lee Jones. There's two Blown Aways.
No,
There's-
I'm thinking of the Nicole Eggert one, Elliot, of
okay.
course.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to give you some covers too.
No, it's the one with the Coreys and Nicole Eggert.
I don't know that one.
Oh, okay. Well,
You were
Watch
not
that
a
one?
you were
That's
not
a
a
sophomore
12-year-old
porn
boy at
movie.
some point with Kate.
Yeah.
I was never a 12-year-old boy. I think that movie was way too long, and the whole idea of these people that want to be perfect, and that like what's so wrong with trying to be perfect, and that whole like 80s kind of you have to look a certain way or like you can't
Go-go
be cool.
80s.
Yeah, that,
With the Go-Go's.
But yeah, I'm glad that we're kind of moving away from that.
And do you
in
think
some
the movie
circles.
needed the extra plot lines involving other stories and cases?
Yeah, I don't think it needed that.
I don't think so either.
I think the movie didn't know they needed it because they didn't really flesh it out.
But they needed a 2-hour runtime.
Why?
That's because
My
movie
guess,
theaters
this
want
is-
tons of people to come and sit for longer.
Because they've already finished their popcorn.
Yeah.
This is my guess. Saturday Night Fever, huge hit based on an article.
Yes.
That article, it turned out, was not really true. But huge movie based on an article about a fad that was going on. These people getting together and going to these discos. My guess, and that is a serious movie, even though people mostly remember the dancing from it. Like, it's a serious movie.
It's very serious.
My guess is they were like, this is John Travolta's Saturday Night Fever for the 80s. We're going to do for the 80s what that did for the 70s. And so they tried to like Tom Wolfe it and make it like this thing that is tied to all sorts of other stuff going on in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my
except the
guess.
story, there was no story there. And Saturday
Yes.
Night Fever definitely
Has
had
a
a
story, characters, stuff
Yeah.
that you need for a movie. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he didn't wear a shirt when he ate a spaghetti. I mean, that's a movie.
He's interested in whether the shoes on display fit him. That's
Sure.
what you need for a
Carrying
movie.
paint
Yeah.
around.
Carrying paint
Yeah.
around.
Well,
yeah.
we missed that movie.
We missed that
Do
movie.
you want to land this plane, Stuart?
Yeah, so I want to thank our producer Alex Smith, and I would love to thank Charlene for being our guest. Do you want to give one final plug for Jiggle Studio?
Jiggle Studio. Support us.
Okay. You did it.
Okay, nailed it. So for the Flophouse, I am Stuart Wellington.
I've been Dan McCoy.
I've been Elliot Kalin.
And I'm Charlene Wellington.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Maximum Fun,
A worker-owned network.
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
directly
by you.